wonderful to be part of the People's SAARC, and every session that I have attended was of great use, I must say. We must keep it up. Together we can bring enormous things, I'm sure. Well, what can you say when your MP tells you, quite rightly tells you that I bought your vote, that I bought your vote, and no more obligations. That's the business. Business is business. Well, that one little thing alone will silence you. That will silence you, and that will make you powerless, perhaps. Well, holding elections is a democratic practice, but democracy means more than simply holding elections. Real democracy requires inclusiveness, compromise, respect for minority rights and human rights, including your right to know and your right to hold public officials to account, and a commitment to the rule of law. Highlighting on the Maldives experience, we can say we have a modern, democratic and liberal constitution which came into effect as recently as in 2008. And that was the year Asia's longest-serving dictator was defeated. Gayoom was ousted. The first ever multi-party elections was held in the same year. However, 3 years into the first democratically elected government, it was brought down in 2012 by a coup d'etat, by rogue elements within the security forces backed by the former regime. The constitution fell into the wrong hands again. The country backtracked on democracy, gross human rights violations persisted, transparency, accountability hijacked, people's power undermined. The subsequent presidential elections in 2013 was another atrocity. To legitimize the coup, these elections were held. However, the coup regime manipulated elections using the Supreme Court. Every time the toppled leader, Mohamed Nasheed, my party leader, emerged the front runner, the Supreme Court kept cancelling and suspending the elections until the former dictator's brother, Gayoom's brother, succeeded with their coalition partners. Supreme Court's interference in the election process has caused the constitutional deadline for the elections pass by. The Supreme Court's interference in the presidential elections was severely criticized by the international community, including the UN, European Union, Commonwealth, and friendly countries as well. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Nabi Pillay, described the situation as a dangerous drift in the democratic process in the Maldives. She further said Supreme Court was interfering excessively in the presidential elections, and in so doing is subverting the democratic process and violating the right of the Maldivians to freely elect their representatives. As the parliamentary elections approached a few months later, the Supreme Court on its own initiated a case against the Elections Commission members, summoned them to the court, and dismissed the president and the vice president of Elections Commission and gave them a suspended jail sentence too. Elections observers such as the European Union noted that the Supreme Court's interference was unconstitutional. The EU mission also observed that vote buying and excessive campaign expenditure appear to be serious problems. NGO Transparency Maldives calls this money politics threatens to hijack democratic process in the Maldives. More recently, a landmark study by the International Foundation for Electoral Systems revealed more than 1 in 3 Maldivians were offered bribes for their votes or witnessed vote buying in parliamentary polls. Therefore, it is safe to say that in the Maldives, we have a competitive authoritarianism. And this results in undermining of core democratic practices and undermining of people's power. This paves the way for the judiciary, which was part of the old dictatorship, remain the same and unreformed. And this makes the blackmailed Supreme Court enjoy life tenure despite their outrageous decisions, and one of its justices sex tapes on the silver screen. This makes the Maldives Human Rights Commission get punished by Supreme Court, writing about the Supreme Court in their Universal Periodic Review report. And this causes state-sponsored terrorism take root. This causes free media outlets set on fire and journalists fatally attacked and abducted but the perpetrators were scot-free. This causes opposition MPs get attacked and death threats made against them, yet no action taken by the authorities against those death threats. This causes Auditor General arbitrarily get dismissed without following no confidence motion in the Parliament or no confidence motion process, but by a simple change to the law for his audit report implicating a government minister of $8.5 million quite recently. Injustices and impunity prevails in the Maldives, and impunity is not by accident, but it's by design. Our concerns at home should be of your interest too, because we share common goals here. Your country, you're not only a citizen of your own country, but you are a citizen of SAARC countries as well. And in fact, you are a citizen of the world. So we should work together to make all our parliaments a better place, more accountable place, that we can work towards establishing democratic societies in our countries. Thank you very much.